Hello everyone, welcome Lead School at Home. Yesterday we have started third chapter of history in unit 4, that is the making of a global world. And as per the section wise, it's first chapter in section 2 of history. In that we already have seen about the pre-modern world, then silk routes linked with the world, then food travelers, spaghetti and potato. Now we will see about next point, that is 1.3, conquest, disease and trade. The pre-modern world shrank greatly in the 16th century after European sailor found a sea route to Asia and also successfully crossed the Western Ocean to America. Means the pre-modern world shrank with greatly in the 16th century after European sailor. Yesterday we have seen about the sailor, that is Christopher Columbus, found a sea route to Asia and also successfully crossed the Western Ocean to America. For centuries before, the Indian Ocean had known a bustling trade with goods, people, knowledge, customs, etc. Means for centuries before, the Indian Ocean had known bustling. Now meaning of bustling means move or be opened suddenly, that is trade with goods, people, knowledge, customs, etc. Crossing its waters, and that happened with the crossing its water. The Indian subcontinent was central to these flows and a crucial point in their networks. And the Indian subcontinent was central on that time to these flows of a trade and a crucial point in their network. The entry of the Europeans helped expand or redirect some of these flows towards Europe, and the entry of the Europeans helped expand or redirect some of these flows towards Europe. Now we will move towards the next paragraph. Before its discovery, America had been cut off from regular contact with the rest of the world for millions of years. Means before the discovery of America, America had been cut off from regular contact with the rest of the world for millions of years. But from the 16th century, its vast land and abundant crops and minerals began to transform trade and lives everywhere. But from the 16th century, its vast lands and abundant crops and minerals began to transform trade and lives everywhere in the US, means America. Precious metals, particularly silver, from mines located in present-day Peru and Mexico, also enhanced Europe's wealth and financed its trade with Asia. Precious metals, particularly silver, from mines located in present-day Peru and Mexico, also enhanced Europe's power and financed its trade with Asia. Legend spread in 17th century Europe about South America's fabled wealth, and legend spread in 17th century Europe about South America's fabled wealth. Many expeditions set off in search of El Dorado, the fabled city of gold, and many expeditions set off in search of El Dorado, the fabled city of gold. The Portuguese and Spanish conquest and colonization of America was decisively underway by the mid 16th century. The Portuguese and also Spanish conquest and colonization of America was decisively. Now, meaning of decisively means conclusive, underway by the mid 16th century. European conquest was not just the result of superior firepower, and European conquest was not just as a result of superior firepower. In fact, the most powerful weapon of the Spanish conquest was not a conventional military weapon at all. And in fact, most common weapon of the Spanish conqueror was not a conventional military power at all. Means it played tricky to them. It was the germs, such as those of smallpox, that they carried on their person. Means that trick, they spread diseases. It was the germs, such as smallpox, that they carried on their person. Because of their long isolation, America's original inhabitants had no immunity against these diseases that came from Europe, and America's original inhabitant had no immunity power to struggle against that diseases which came from Europe. Smallpox in particular proved a deadly killer, and smallpox is dangerous for them. Once introduced, it spread deep into the continent, and it spread deeply into the continent, ahead even of any Europeans reaching there, and no one European reached there. It killed and decimated whole communities, paving the way of conquest. And it killed and decimated. Now, meaning of decimated means to destroy 1/10, and it destroyed nearly about 1/10 whole communities, paving the way of conquest. Now, meaning of paving means pavement. Now, here one image has given, just we will see what is the image of this. Now this is, see from the above, this is the figure 4, that is the Irish potato famine, illustrated London News 1849. Just see what the image tell us. Hungry children digging for potatoes in a field that has already been harvested, hoping to discover some left over. Means children digging for potatoes, they think that some potatoes will be there, and that field has already harvested. During the great Irish potato famine in between the years 1845 to 1849, around 10 lakh people died for starvation in Ireland. Nearly about 10 lakh people died because of starvation in Ireland, and double the number immigrated in search of work, and near about double number of people migrated in search of work. Now below side one box has given, just see what is the box of that. Now see biological warfare. John Winthrop, the first governor of the Manchester Bay Colony in New England, wrote in May 1634 that smallpox signed God's blessing for the colonists. The natives were near, means near all dead of smallpox. So as the Lord had cleared our title to what we possess. This is about biological warfare. Now we will move on to the next page. Could be bought and captured and turned against the invaders, but not diseases such as smallpox, to which the conquerors were mostly immune. Now here mostly guns could be bought or captured and then turns against the invaders. Now meaning of invaders means a person that invades, but not diseases such as smallpox, to which the conquerors were mostly immune. Now, meaning of immune means free. Until the 19th century, poverty and hunger were common in Europe. And in 19th century, poverty and hunger were common in Europe. Cities were crowded and deadly. Diseases were widespread. And in the cities of Europe were crowded and deadly diseases. Religious conflicts were common and religious dissenters were persecuted. Means religious conflict were common in Europe and also religious dissenters. Now meaning of dissenters means one who refuses to accept established beliefs and practices. Now meaning of persecuted means to treat cruelly. Thousands therefore fled Europe for America, and thousands of people fled Europe for America. Here, by the 18th century, plantations worked by slaves captured in Africa were growing cotton and sugar for European makers. And in 18th century, plantations workers by slaves captured in Africa were growing cotton and sugar for European market until well into the 18th century. China and India were among the world's most richest countries, and until well into the 18th century, India and China were the most richest countries in the world. They were also preeminent in Asian trade, and they were also preeminent in Asian trade. However, from the 15th century, China is said to have restricted overseas contact and retreated into isolation. And in 15th century, China went into isolation. China's reduced role and the rising importance of the America gradually moved the center of world trade westwards. And after isolation of China in 15th century, America gradually moved the center of world trade. Europe now emerged as the center of the world trade now. Now here one question is there. Explain what we mean when we say that the world shrank in the 15th century. Please student write the answer of that question. Here one image has given, just we see what the image of. Figure number 5, slaves for sales. New Orleans Illustrated London News 1851. A prospective buyer carefully inspecting slaves lined up before the auction. You can see two children along with four women and seven men in top hats and suit waiting to be sold. To attract buyers, slaves were often dressed in their best clothes. Now we will move towards on the next page. The 19th century, 1815 to 1914. The world changed profoundly in the 19th century. Means world changed in the year that is 19th century. Economic, political, social, cultural and technological factors interacted in complex ways to transform societies and reshape external relations. And in the 19th century, the changes happen in the economic, political, social, culture and technological factors. Now we will move towards on the next paragraph. Economists identify three types of movement or flows within international economic exchange. means economists identify three types of movement. The first is the flow of trade, which in the 19th century referred largely to trade in goods, means that is cloth or wheat. The second is the flow of labor, the migration of people in search of employment. Means second flow is the flow of labor, the migration of people in search of employment, means for job. The third is the movement of capital for short term or long term. And the third flow is the movement of capital for short term or long term investments over long distances. Now we will move towards the next paragraph. All these flows were closely interwoven and affected people's lives more deeply now than ever before, and these flows were closely interwoven and affected on people's lives. The interconnections could sometimes be broken. For example, labor migration was often more restricted than goods or capital flows, and that interconnections could be sometimes be broken. For example, labor migration was often more restricted than goods or capital flows. And it helps us understand the 19th century world economy better if we look at the three flows together. Now we will move the first point in the 19th century, that is 1815 to 1914. First one is the 2.1, a world economy tech shapes. A good place to start is the changing pattern of food production and consumption in industrial Europe. A good place to start the changing pattern of food production and consumption in industrial Europe. Traditionally, countries like to be self-sufficient in food, and traditionally countries liked to be food sufficient. But in 19th century Britain, self-efficiency in food meant lower living standard and social conflict. Why was this so? Now we will see the answer of this question. Population growth from the late 18th century had increased the demand for food grains in Britain. Means the Britain's population had increased in 18th century and also increased the demand for food grains. As urban centers expanded and industry grew, the demand for agriculture products went up, pushing up food grain prices. And because of that reason, food product prices and also prices of grain has hiked. Under pressure from landed groups, the government also restricted the import of corn, and also government restricted the imports of corn. The laws allowing the government to do this were commonly known as the corn law. This is very important, student, because in exam you will be asked write the meaning of corn law in brief. And government launched the corn law. Unhappy with high food prices, industrialists and urban dwellers forced the abolition of the corn law. Now we will move towards the next paragraph. After the corn law were scrapped, food could be imported into Britain more cheaply than it could be produced within the country. And after that corn laws were scrapped, food could be imported in Britain more cheaply than it could be produced within the country, means hiked the prices of food products in the British agriculture was unable to compete with the imports, and British agriculture was unable to compete with the imports. Vast areas of land were now left uncultivated, and thousands of men and women were thrown out of work. And because of vast areas of land were now left uncultivated, and thousands of people thrown out of work, they flocked to the cities or migrated overseas, and they migrated to cities or elsewhere. Now we will move towards on food prices fell, consumption in Britain rose, and when food prices fell, that time consumption of food in Britain rose. From the mid 19th century, faster industrial growth in Britain also led to higher incomes and therefore more food imports. And from the mid 19th century, faster industrial growth in Britain also led to higher incomes and therefore more food imports in the Britain. Around the world in Eastern Europe, Russia, America and Australia, lands were cleared and food production expanded to meet the British demand. It was not enough merely to clear lands for agriculture, and it was not enough to merely to clear lands for agriculture. Railways were needed to link the agriculture regions to the ports, and that time railways were needed to link the agriculture region to the ports. Now, harbors had to build and old ones expanded to ship the new cargoes. And here, harbors had to be built and old ones expanded to ship the new cargoes. Now, meaning of harbors means a plan on the coast for ship to more. People had to settle on the lands to bring them under cultivation, and people also have to be settled on the land to bring them under cultivation. This means building homes and settlements, and that means building homes and settlement. All these activities in turns required capital and labor, and all activities turn to be required labor and capital. Capital flowed from financial centers such as London, and the capital flowed from financial center such as London city. The demand for labor in places where labor was in short supply, as in America and Australia, led to more migration, and demand of labor in places of where labor was in short supply, as in America and Australia, led to be more migration happened. Nearly 50 million people migrated from Europe to America and Australia in 19th century. Means in 19th century, near about 50 million people migrated from Europe to America and Australia. All over the world, some 150 million are estimated to have left their homes, crossed ocean and vast distance over land in search of a better future, and they migrated for their better future. Here one picture has given. This is the figure 5, migrant ship leaving for the US by MV Ridley, 1869. Now here another image is there, that is the figure 7, Irish migrants waiting to board the ship by Michael Fitzgerald, 1874. Now we will move towards our next page. By 1890, a global agriculture economy had taken shape, accompanied by complex change in labor movement patterns, capital flows, ecologies, and technology. Means after 1890, some changes has happened. Means some shape has taken by the agriculture economy in the movement pattern, capital flow, ecologies, and technology. Food no longer came from a nearby village or a town, and food no longer came from a nearby village or town, but from thousands of miles away. It was not grown by a peasant tilling his own land, but by an agriculture worker. And it was not grown by a peasant tilling his own land. Now, meaning of tilling, to cultivate, but by an agriculture worker, perhaps recently arrived, who was now working on a large farm that only a generation ago had most likely been a forest. It was transported by railway built for that very purpose, and by ships which were increasingly manned in these decades by low paid workers from southern Europe, and it was transported by a railway built for that very purpose, and by ships which were increasingly manned in the decade by low paid workers from southern Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean countries. Now here student, activities are there. Two activities are there. Please do that. First one activity is prepare a flow chart to show how Britain's decision to import food led to increased migration to America and Australia. And second one is imagine that you are an agriculture worker who has arrived in America from Ireland. Write a paragraph on why you chose to come and how you are earning your living. Now we will move towards the next. Now here some of these dramatic changes, though on a smaller scale, occurred closer home in West Punjab, and these some of this dramatic change, though on a small scale, occurred in West Punjab. Here the British Indian government built a network of irrigation canals to transform semi-desert west into fertile agriculture land that could grow wheat and cotton for export, and for exporting British Indian government built a network of irrigation canal to transform semi-desert west into fertile agriculture. The canal colonies, as the areas irrigated by the new canals were settled by peasants from other parts of Punjab. Of course, food is merely an example, and this is an merely example. A similar story can be told for cotton, the cultivation of which expanded worldwide to feed British textile mills. On rubber, indeed, so rapidly did regional specialization in the production of commodities develop. Means after cotton, rubber, indeed, so rapidly did regional specialization in the production of commodities develop that between 1820 to 1914, world trade is estimated to have multiplied 25 to 40 times. Nearly 60% of this trade comprised primary products, that is agriculture products such as wheat, cotton, and minerals such as coal. Now student, today we stop here. Next part we will see in next video. If any queries there, please student ask me. Thank you.